Please be seated. Good evening. I'm Jack Waden Allen. I'm the Dean of the Texas Tech University School of Law, and I'd like to welcome you to our May 2025 commencement ceremony. The hooding ceremony is always a very special occasion, one that marks a major professional milestone in the lives of our graduates. Our students, after years of hard work, determination, and endless hours of study, have made it at last. Let's offer them our congratulations. And to the friends and families of our students, let me say, I know how incredibly proud you must be right now. And it's your unwavering support that helped these students reach this moment. Thank you for all you've done to make their journey possible. Let's have a round of applause for the friends and family. It's now my pleasure to recognize the special guests we'll hear from today. Texas Tech System Board of Regents member Pat Gordon, a 1983 graduate of the law school and one of our strongest supporters. I'm just recognizing, just a second. Student Bar Association President Nia Williams. Our keynote speaker, Scott Summey, a 1990 graduate of the law school about whom I will say more in a few minutes. And right now, down with his classmates, our elected class speaker, Harlan Burke. Thank you to all of our speakers for being with us today. I also want to take a moment to recognize other members of our stage party. We're so pleased to have Texas Tech University Provost Ron Hendrick here with us. Provost Hendrick has been a great supporter of the law school, and we are so grateful to him for all he's done for us. Let's give him a big round of applause. We also have Associate Dean for Student Life, Sophia Rodriguez Chapman, a tireless supporter of the law school. My tremendous thanks to Dean Chapman for all she does. Today is a big day, and let me take a moment now to say to our students, you're about to become graduates, and we are so, so proud of you. And as you move today from law students to law graduates, remember you will always be part of the Texas Tech Law family. Please stay in touch. Reach out whenever you need anything, and always know that we will be here to help and to cheer you on from success to success. And one more thing, in July, I want you to wreck that bar exam. Let me hear you cheer. At this point, I'd like to invite Regent Pat Gordon and then SBA President Nia Williams to share greetings with our graduates and guests.
Good evening. My name is Pat Gordon. I'm a member of the Texas Tech Board of Regents, but more importantly, I'm a graduate of Tech Law, 1983. Very proud of that. On behalf of the Texas Tech System and the Board of Regents, I want to welcome everyone here this evening, and I want to offer my heartfelt congratulations on this incredible achievement. We are so proud of each one of you. I would also like to congratulate your families and friends who supported you through this endeavor, which we know would have been almost impossible without their help. The challenge and accomplishment that you did is succinct. Over 3 years ago, each of you made a decision to attend Texas Tech Law. And over that time, you spent your lives in school, studying, and working towards this moment. These have been some of the most challenging times of your lives. You've worked hard, incredibly, and you finished what you started, and that's a big deal. But today is a celebration of you and what you've achieved, and we're so happy to be able to gather here in person to see this. But as you savor this moment, let the full weight of your accomplishment sink in today. and reflect on those who played a significant role in this endeavor. And maybe it's your mom or dad, spouse, professor, classmate, but take a moment to express your gratitude for their support at this time. I know they'll definitely appreciate it. Today is a momentous time in your life, one that you will not forget. Know that your time here at Tech has prepared you well. Over the last 3 years, you've been exposed to many areas of the law, but more importantly, you've learned a skill of thinking like a lawyer. You will use this skill the rest of your lives, and you may find yourself in different lines of work, but you'll never stop being a lawyer. But today does not mark the end of your relationship with each other or with Tech Law. The day you accepted your admission to Tech, you joined a lifelong community. In fact, you joined a family. And now you are my family. And just like your own family, you'll be a member of Texas Tech Law for life. And what does that mean to be a family? Well, it means we help each other. We mentor and support each other. We open doors for each other, and we help each other in life's challenges. And I challenge each of you to do that. Support your Tech family. And today you're in for a treat. Your keynote speaker, Scott, is a shining example of what it means to be a Tech Law grad. He's an incredibly accomplished, he's extremely generous to the law school and gives back to his community. And what he says, listen carefully. I hope you feel an enormous sense of pride and sheer joy of what you've achieved today. But as you join the ranks of Tech Law, it's up to you to continue Tech Law's legacy of achievement, our legacy of scholarship, and our legacy of public service. You're now graduates of Texas Tech University Law, and as the former Dean Walt Huffman used to say, that's a big deal. Again, congratulations on this important day, and remember, this is only the beginning. Great things await you because you are a Tech lawyer. Congratulations.
Good evening, y'all. I want to first extend a heartfelt thanks to all of our wonderful faculty and staff at Texas Tech Law. Dean Nowlin, your commitment to your students is evident in all that you do, and the law school is flourishing under your leadership. We're lucky to have you, and I'm excited to watch the advancement of the legal field through the work of Tech lawyers. Dean Chapman, thank you for your unwavering support, especially to me this year as I navigated a new form of leadership. The many hours that we spent in your office working to create the best outcomes for our students were meaningful to me in ways that I'm sure you understand. To Blake and Stephanie, I saw you nearly every day this year, and the work that both of you put into the law school is immeasurable in value. Every odds and ends question and 5-minute crisis that I had was solved because of the work that you did, so thank you both. My classmates, I could sit here and talk about all of the accolades that you've rung in this year and throughout your law school journey. I know that you are truly the smartest of the smart, hardworking beyond measure, advocates that will change the legal field for the better. I have no doubt that you will go into this world and that you will show them that Tech Law does it best. But I want to instead shift the focus from the advocate that you've become to the person that you've grown into. When we entered law school, you were not the same person that you are now. We got to know each other first in sections when we were answering 1L cold calls that were so stressful our Apple Watches warned us to breathe. Then on the football field when we absolutely beat the med school where it counts. We danced together at Law Formal and at Boo Bash, and we laughed together on stools in our favorite back room. We watched Bob final rounds and celebrated with each other at our end of the year banquets. Since then, you've grown and you've stretched into a new type of scholar. You've learned a new language. But while we got to know each other as lawyers, we also got to know each other as people. Some of you have found love. Some of you have brought new life into this world. Some of you have found a career that lights your soul on fire, and many have made lifelong friends that shaped your life for the better. You are now older, wiser, stronger, but you still have so much time to grow. My hope for you is that somewhere between a billable hour or the stress of waiting for the jury to come back with a verdict, you find the same joy that we had here. I hope that you stop to take the photo, that you laugh without reservation, and that you savor the moments of growth between the parts of life that feel harder than others. To Cameron, Jordan, Sydney, Ashton, Allison, Maya, Callahan, Hunter, Fallon, Taylor, Keeley, Frank, CJ, Connor, Josh, and my other sweet friends who cram too many chairs at a table in the forum every day. Thank you for more that you know. Somewhere between painting yourself green for Boo Bash, karaoke nights, taking digi-photos on nights out, a game of piccolo, witty jokes, and late nights full of giggling, you fostered a version of me that I didn't know existed. You changed the course of my life for the better, and because I knew you, I'm changed for good. To my family, who I truly don't have the words to thank, everything that I have done here has been for you. My parents, you are a testament to strength, to resilience, to compassion, and to unwavering love. You are all things good in this life and all things good in this world. This moment is yours as much as it is mine. To my sweet brothers who have grown in knowledge and height since I left home, I love you more, and I can't wait to grow with you over this next year. To my three who didn't get the chance to be here, I hope I make you proud up there. In today's world, lawyers are more important than ever. You are joining a career that comes with grave responsibility. Responsibility to stand up for the rule of law, to protect the institutions that we hold dear, and to leave this world better than the way that it was handed to us. Don't take this responsibility lightly, but embrace the challenge that I know that you are more than capable of conquering. Love your neighbor, especially those who are different from you. Provide a voice for the voiceless, and create opportunity for those who have not had it. And remember the promises that this nation offers to all. Promises of due process, promises of equal protection, promises of belonging, of equity, and of success. It's been an honor to be your president. Enjoy your families tonight and wreck that bar in July.
We have such a wonderful keynote speaker for you today, Scott Summey, class of 1990. Scott is one of the nation's top environmental law attorneys. He heads up the environmental litigation group at Barron & Budd, where he leads an elite team of professionals focused on complex national environmental litigation. Now, over the years, Scott has taken on some of the biggest environmental law challenges in the country, and he wins and wins. Last year, Law 360 recognized Scott as a titan of the plaintiff's bar, and you can see why. Scott served as executive counsel in the BP oil spill litigation, helping secure over $13 billion for Gulf Coast communities. Scott also helped negotiate a $648 million settlement with Monsanto for stormwater contamination, and Scott, as a co-lead and settlement counsel, also helped negotiate the largest drinking water settlements in U.S. history, $1.2 billion from DuPont and $12.5 billion from 3M. Scott has also worked to hold utility companies accountable for the wildfire damages they've caused in California, and more recently, Scott has played a leading role in a massive national case over firefighting chemicals which contaminate drinking water. Scott's work has made a huge, huge difference nationwide, and he has helped countless people. And his story started right here at the law school. Scott credits the law school's advocacy program for shaping his path. He still talks fondly about those early competitions in places like New York and Chicago, experiences that first lit the spark for everything that followed. and he's never forgotten his roots. Scott and his wife, Lena, have given back to support the next generation of Texas Tech law advocates by establishing the Scott and Lena Summey Elite Advocates Endowment with a $2 million gift to the law school. Last year, we proudly recognized Scott at our gala with a Distinguished Alumni Award honoring his incredible career and his unwavering support for this law school and its students. As Dean, it is my privilege and my honor to welcome Scott Summey as this year's commencement keynote speaker.
Wow, what an honor to be here before you today. I was sitting here thinking, boy, it is really surreal to be here because literally 35 years ago, I was sitting exactly where you're sitting. I was graduating from this law school. And it just seems so real to be here today before you. The title of my speech tonight is Ordinary Law Graduates Can Accomplish Extraordinary Things. You know, there was no one more ordinary than me when I was graduating from this law school. I was the first person in my family to go to college. I was married in law school, and when we got out of law school, we had two things. We had dreams and debt. And it sort of gets to me that, you know, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional because when I did graduate from here, I can't tell you how ordinary I was. I'd never even met a lawyer before until I got to law school and I started interviewing my second year. That was the first time I ever met a lawyer. But when we got out of law school, about 5 years in, I was presented this case that taught me 4 things, and I have tried to employ those 4 lessons throughout my career. And it all started in August of 1995. Late Friday afternoon, hot summer, I get a call on the phone. This guy says to me, he's from Wilmington, North Carolina. He says to me that he's been drinking contaminated drinking water, him and 200 other people in a trailer park. And he said, I've been drinking something called MTBE, which was a gasoline additive, and it looks like it came from down the street from a major oil company. So I said, wow, that sounds crazy. Let me come talk to you guys. So I flew to North Carolina, and I met with all these folks, and they began to tell me all their ailments and things that they'd been going through. And I felt this huge need to help these people. So the only problem was they couldn't afford a lawyer. And the only way to represent them was on a contingency fee basis where you got to front all your time and your expenses. But the problem was my firm didn't do contingency fee cases. We only did hourly work. So that really brings me to lesson number 1. Practice law with no regrets. I went back to my law firm. I was very young at this time, and I went into the senior partners and I poured my heart out and said, let's do this case. And they were like, it's going to be expensive. We're going to lose money. This could be a problem, blah, 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 blah. But I kept after them. Come on, this is going to be a good case. And they finally said, all right, we'll do it. But there was a lot of risk for me because I was going to basically not have hours. My hourly billables were going to go right down the drain because I was going to work on this case. And you know what was going to happen if it went wrong. You know who was going to get the blame. But they went ahead and they said, all right, let's do it. So we start out and we start the case. I file the case and we start discovery. And it didn't go so well because what happened is the major oil company took the position that they didn't have any records related to the station. They didn't know who worked there because they said all the records were in a fire in a warehouse that burned down. How convenient is that? And on top of that, they moved for summary judgment, basically saying, look, they don't have any evidence that there was a gasoline release at this station. And that brings me to lesson number 2, be curious. So what I did the only thing I knew to do. I flew to North Carolina, and I went to the house behind the station. We didn't have Google, we didn't have LinkedIn. I had no way of trying to do a search of who worked at the station. And so what I did, I just started knocking on doors and just saying, hey, did anybody see anything? Does anybody know anything? And I finally got to this lady at the 3rd house, and she said, well, I think there was this guy who used to work there, and she gave me his name. So I look in the phone book, again, a sign of the times, right? And I find the guy, and I call him, and I say, hey, look, tell him who I am. And he says, well, I was wondering when you were going to call. And I was like, how would I know to call? He said, well, I met with all the lawyers months ago, and on the other side, and I guess they didn't tell you about me. And I said, no, they didn't tell me anything about you. And I said, was there a release at the gas station? He said, oh, we had a massive release. He said, I had to shut the gas station down because I thought it was going to blow up. And I said, well, did you tell the company? He said, yeah, I told the company. I said, what'd they do? He said, they said, cover it up and don't say a word. And I said, that's incredible. So to say that blew the case open would be taking it mildly. So the first 2 things you got to do. 1, you have got to take risk, okay? Take calculated risk in your practice. Guarantee you, you will not regret it. What I try to do is I try to take the pros and cons of every decision that's presented to me. And I know you're going to be given a lot of decisions. You may be given a decision about, do I change firms? Do I start my own firm? Do I run for judge? All these different things. When you look at it, what I think you should do is measure the pros and cons, but take the fear of failure out of the calculation. Because if you keep the fear of failure in there, it can jade you. Take calculated risk. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it bluntly. If you want to change the world or you want to accomplish extraordinary things, you have got to take risks. I have taken more risks than you can imagine in my career, but I don't do it just willy-nilly. I try to do it by taking the fear of failure out and then doing the pros and cons. And at the same time, you got to be curious, okay? One thing that I guarantee you every lawyer will tell you, when you get into a lawsuit or you get into a case or any legal matter really, there's going to be a lot of things that just don't make sense. And it's the lawyer who can unravel the nonsensical that can thrive in this law practice. Not only thrive, but be dangerous. And I mean dangerous in a good way. So you got to dig. You got to dig in. And a lot of it is not intelligence. A lot of it is hustle and grit. You got to get in there and you got to work. And you got to work hard if you want to accomplish extraordinary things. That brings me to the 3rd lesson. Become a subject matter expert in things outside of the law. You say, what do you mean by that? Well, in the North Carolina case, we had to prove that the gasoline got from the gas station over to these drinking water wells. So that involved hydrogeology, chemistry, epidemiology, toxicology, all these things. And what happens is I sort of describe it like a tripod. There's basically the facts, there's the law, and then there's these overlying technical fields out there. You got to become an expert in the technical fields. You got to be an expert in the law for sure, but whether it be engineering, science, medicine, whatever it is, become an expert, a subject matter expert in those fields, because it will help you speak the language of your clients. It'll help you be able to talk to judges and juries about that. And what it'll really do is allow you to basically apply the nuances of the law to the facts in this technical field. And I promise you, if you will dig in and learn the technical field that surrounds your practice, you will be able to practice law at an elite level. So back to the North Carolina case. Unfortunately, the case didn't settle. They offered us $1 million prior to trial. We had $1 million in expenses. So we try the case for 6 weeks. After 6-week trial, the jury comes back and awards my clients $10.5 million in damages. They also find that the major oil company is liable for punitive damages. So we argue the punitive part of the case, jury comes back, and the defendants run to the judge and say, "Judge, let us negotiate overnight. Let's not take the punitive verdict." So we did that. Overnight, 1997, we settled the case for $36 million. At the time, it was one of the largest settlements in North Carolina history. So that next morning, we were able to meet with our clients, tell them about the settlement. They were wailing, they were crying, they were overjoyed. Somebody had finally listened to them. And that brings me to lesson number 4. Never forget that you are in the life-changing business. Ever since you've been here, for the last 3 years, you've read cases about people that you don't know. You have done advocacy competitions and skills over fictional people. Let me tell you something, that's all about to change when you walk out of here. From now on, you're going to be dealing with real people with real problems. And I don't care if you're on the plaintiff's side, you're on the defense side, you're civil, you're criminal, you're dealing with real people. I don't even care if you are drawing up a contract or a will. It doesn't really matter, because people need lawyers when their lives intersect with the law. And that's where you come in. And the thing is that when you finally realize, and I have to remind myself all the time, I can get caught up in the issues of the case or whatever I'm doing, and I have to remind myself, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the people you represent. And you got to always remember that. And the thing that does is it gives you purpose. And when you have purpose, that leads to contentment. And when you have contentment, you have happiness. And let me tell you, people say to me all the time, "Scott, why don't you just retire? Haven't you accomplished enough?" And I think to myself, if I retire, where's my purpose? What am I going to do? Because I've spent the last 35 years with my purpose being about my clients. And I love it. And I hope that you do too. And you are going to experience that starting once you become and pass the bar, it is about your clients. So after the North Carolina case, I go back to Dallas. And again, this was my first big case, right? And it happened early in my career. And I get back to Dallas, and one of the senior partners calls me in his office, and he says to me, "Scott, I really feel sorry for you." And I'm like, "Why?" And he says, "Well, because at such a young age, you've already had the largest case you'll ever have, and you've already accomplished the biggest thing you'll ever accomplish in your career." And I know he was kind of joking, but that really bothered me. And you know what? About 2 weeks later, something very interesting happened to me. I didn't even know it, but I had been involved in the trial of the first MTBE case in the United States. And I was just focused on that one case, right? Turns out, I didn't even know it. Turns out, MTBE ended up being in about 500 public water systems across America. And once people found out about the case, I began getting hired by everybody. I got hired by almost every single city that had MTBE over a period of time. And then over another period of time, I litigated all those cases against the entire oil industry. And those cases settled for hundreds of millions of dollars. And then what's crazy is, in each case after that, what happened is I finished MTBE, and guess what? Here came the next chemical. 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 To the point where now I've represented 200 public water systems and have recovered billions of dollars for my clients. And let me tell you something. There was no one sitting at graduation more ordinary than me. I promise you. What I did, though, is the 4 lessons that I talked to you about today, those are the 4 lessons that I employed throughout my entire career. And I guarantee you, you can do the same thing. You can use those 4 lessons. And when I say you can accomplish extraordinary results, it doesn't have to be billions of dollars. I'm not claiming extraordinary as money necessarily. Extraordinary is when you do an amazing job on behalf of your client. And I know you guys can do it because I know the type of product this law school puts out. This law school amazes me at the quality of students, advocates, lawyers that come out of this law school. I mean, heck, it's the #1 advocacy school in the country, folks. You guys, I know what kind of faculty's here. I know what kind of dean is here. I know how you've been trained. You guys can accomplish amazing, extraordinary things. And when you do, remember where you came from. I came from nothing. And so I try to remember where I came from. You do the same. And when you remember where you came from, you pay it forward and you give back, which is what I did, because I gave back to the law school because look what it did for me. It changed the entire trajectory of my life. And that I will be forever grateful. In closing, I just want to read you a little something that I wrote for you guys. It's called My Wish for You. The American justice system is based on the rule of law. Our legal system promises speedy trials, due process, and justice for all. Despite these promises, aggrieved parties often suffer far too long only to experience injustice, highlighting the system's flaws. As new lawyers, may you strive for excellence and use your knowledge, creativity, curiosity, courage, and advocacy skills to protect your clients from a fall. While changing the world is a lofty goal, it is actually achieved by pouring your heart and soul into safeguarding the interests of your clients, both big and small. May you find an area of law where you experience contentment and purpose in the most noble profession of all, the practice of law. And as you leave this university, I challenge each of you to stand tall as graduates from Texas Tech School of Law.
That was wonderful. Let's have another round of applause for Scott Summey. And let's have a round of applause for our other wonderful speakers, Regent Gordon and Nia Williams. At this time, Associate Dean Sophia Chapman will lead the recognition of our graduating class.
Sydney Paige Allison. Maya Elam Zayan. Matthew Ruben Emenrud. Edith Marie Anthony. Bryn Elaine Arnold. Jacqueline Avila Gonzalez. Chase Bailey. Bailey Madison Ballas. Mackenzie Lene Ballard. Sam Baquit. Mitchell J. Berry. Bailey Nicole Barton. Samantha Lori Bierning. Alexandra Renee Blair. Katie Bone. Ashley Elizabeth Boyce. Margaret Allison Brown. Taylor Catherine Brumbaugh. Harlan Himes Burke. Chase Chamberlain. Abigail Cheek. Daniel Chung. Cody James Clayton. Jose Miguel Cuarrubias. Cade William Cross. Shelby Lynn Curry. Sam Foley Dennehy. Samuel N. Dick. Gunnar Byron Fowler Duke. Sydney Elizabeth Dumas. Jake Derland. Abby Brianne Dye. Cannon Reed Eccles. Nura Elehentati. Ashton Parker Ensley. Ethan Evans. Audrey Ray Flemings. Caroline Elizabeth Ford. Alicia Susana Garcia. Hagen Thomas Gardner. Elan Goldstein. Megan Garacki. Kaylee Sue Gore. Jaden Griffith Allen. Lauren Cole Hammock. Teresa M. Hardigree. Jordan Lee Harkins. Juliana Fiona Hayes Angelelli. Robin Emily Hines. Audrey Ann Helm. Arisha Imtiaz Himani. JC Hennefe Birkenfeld. Amy Lynette Hernandez. James Ryan Holdridge. Keely Renee House. Caden Scott Jackson. Ethan C. Jimenez. Kevin Johnson. Brittany Raspberry Jones. Desiree Rhea Jones. Fallon Dion Jones. Vanessa Elizabeth Jones. Catherine Mercedes Jost. Brandon Thomas Casper. Andy Grace Kiefer. Dallas McKay Kennedy. Nusabaya Khan. Bailey Nicole King. Eric A. Kluskowski. Sarah K. Cronenberger. Caleb Cundy. Clarissa Ann Landa Bellamy. Joshua Carl Legg. Andrew Kyle Lisenby. Colton Luca. Erica Ray Lopez. Victor Anthony Lopez. Eva Rose Lynch. Jory R. Maples. Katie P. Master. Carly Jones McCleary. Dylan Gage McGrath. Katie Ann McMurray. Gideon Meyer. Joshua John Staben Mendez. Isabel Rose Mendoza. Savannah Ivana Monterrey. Destiny Morgan. Casey Joy Muno. Ivan X. Naranjo. Brooklyn McDaniel Nevins. Wade E. Osborne. Shelby Nicole Hanser. Seth Garrett Holzer. Clayton T. Peck. Justin Pennington. Ethan D. Pham. Demetria Marjorie Poulos. Priyanka Pudasani. Raquel Rawlings. Macy Dawn Redfern. Morgan Kyle Register. Emily Ray Rose. Hunter Glenn Robinson. Fernanda Roman. Kevin Rosales. Keisha Lynn Ross. Jake Ryan. Juan Fernando Salas. Christopher Michael Schreier. Patrick Maxwell Seeger. Jeremy Segura. Kate Seidel. Lauren Margaret Summerlot. John David Stauffer. Courtney Shay Stevens. Michelle Marie Sutton. Lauren Renee Tedder Kunitz. Cassidy K. Terrazas. Emily Taylor Terry. Rianne Travis. Ashley Trujillo. Megan Lynn Vlasic. Riley Joe Waldo. Claire Marie Walker. Megan Danae Watson. Adrian Clark Webb. Gage Joseph Wiley. Naya Hope Williams. John David Williamson. Edmund Gilbert Zafrani. Noah Joseph Zavaleta. I proudly present to you the class of 2025. Congratulations! Your hard work and determination have brought you to this moment, and we are proud of you. It is now my pleasure to invite Harlan Burke, who has been elected as this year's class speaker, to the stage to address his fellow graduates.
Everyone that's here one more time for the class of 2025. They say If you want to understand a family, sit at their dinner table. If you want to understand Texas Tech law, pull up a chair. My name is Harlan Burke, and before I get started, I just want to say thank you to the families, friends, and guests who took time off, traveled to Lubbock, and shelled out $500 per night to stay here. We're glad you can make it. It is an honor to have been chosen by my peers to address this amazing class of 2025 for our graduation. The final time we will all be in the same room. When thinking about what I was going to say for this speech, I first thought about what it means to graduate from law school. Graduating from law school means we're about to earn our license to practice law. And yes, we will all be licensed attorneys very soon because we're all gonna pass the bar on the first try. Every single one of us. I'm just putting that out into the universe now. As I began writing this speech, I thought about some of the honorable aspects of graduating law school. Building a future for ourselves and our families, enacting change in the community and striving for justice. And then naturally, my mind wandered to high salaries, big shiny office buildings, prestigious job titles. But graduating law school could also bring some harsh realities, demanding quotas, long days, eye strain, lower back pain, and figuring out if your employer-provided health insurance policy covers weekly visits with the therapist. But then I thought, what is so special about this school? Out of all the options we had, out of all the possible timelines, we all ended up here in Lubbock together. So what's the real significance of graduating from Texas Tech Law? To answer this question, class of 2025, I am going to take you on a journey back in time to August 16th, 2022, our first day of 1L orientation, right across the street in Lanier Auditorium. In case you don't remember, during our orientation, we heard from several professors, such as Cassie Christopher, on how to read and brief a case. Oh. We also heard from Paula Smith and Kayla Wimberly on how to get a job, and Dwight McDonald and Brian Shannon on how to thrive in law school. Additionally, we heard from Dean Chapman, who kept talking about this Tech Law Familia and how we were her mijos. At the time, I didn't think much of it, but after 3 years, it all makes sense. There is one thing that this school has that makes it so unique. The Texas Tech School of Law and this class of 2025 is one big, happy, dysfunctional, chaotic family. And surrounding this family's dinner table are 136 screaming siblings. After 3 years together, we have learned how to form arguments, talk over each other, and somehow teach ourselves an entire semester's worth of material in the 36 hours before an exam. Class of 2025, I could choose no better group of people to have spent the last 3 years of my life with. Each one of you has made their own unique impact on this class and has made this law school experience so very special. Congratulations to you all. I will miss every single one of you. Also surrounding our dinner table are those overachieving cousins who make everyone else look so bad. You know, the go-getters, the ones who outworked the rest. I'm looking at you, Matthew Amenrud, Ashley Trujillo, Destiny Morgan, Caleb Cundy, Caden Jackson, Chase Bailey, Michelle Sutton. All I have to say is thanks for setting our exam curves so damn high. Oh, and whichever one of you runs for president in 2036, don't worry, you have my vote. Sitting in the seats of honor at our dinner table are our trusty grandparents who bestow upon us all of their infinite knowledge and wisdom. Here at the Texas Tech School of Law, we have had countless professors, and there are too many to name, who have not only taught us how to be great lawyers, but even better people. This class of 2025 will always be appreciative of our wonderful, amazing professors. And then, every family, of course, has the mom, the one who watched over her young ones and made sure all of her little ducklings were accounted for. Mama Sophia, thank you for being our mom away from home over the past 3 years and taking such great care of us all. But Mama Sophia, you lied to us in orientation. You lied to us. You said we would be your mijos for the next 3 years. But actually, Dean Chapman, we're going to be your mijos forever. Finally, assuming his spot at the head of the table is Dad. Papa Bear, the man of the house, the provider, the one with who has what I'm sure is a very hairy chest. The one who puts food on the table, but we cannot eat until he says so. Blake Groves. Rumor has it that you're leaving the law school after this year. And all I have to say is while you're probably on to bigger and better things, you will be missed, and this law school just won't be the same. As you can see, this dinner table is surrounded by quite the cast of characters. No matter how far our careers take us, no matter how much time passes by, here at our dinner table, you will always have a place to sit, and you'll never eat alone. Congrats, class of 2025. Love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Harlan. Let's give Harlan Burke another big round of applause. Thank you all for the privilege of sharing this day with you, and congratulations again to the class of 2025. Families, we ask that you remain seated during the recessional exit of the stage party, faculty, hooders, and students. Then exit the building, head to the north end to meet and congratulate your graduate. Best wishes to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you, and guns up forever.